Hiya, guess where we are again? Yes, the park. We thought we'd come to a different part of the park. We're in the centre of a kind of BMX area, I think, but the kids that engage in that sort of thing are not up yet, so hopefully we'll have a pretty clear run. Ideally we like to try and keep away from people because you get a lot of interested people. They want to come and have a look at the drone. It's very understandable, that's what people do, of course, and but it is very difficult because safety wise you've got to try and keep away from people if you can, try not to overfly them, that sort of thing. So finding good spots is difficult, but we found one in the park. So basically what I want to do, I want to test the gimbal on this because you may remember in the previous video I tried to fly it indoors, and our house isn't the biggest, and we flew into a kind of door frame, and the drone crashed down to the ground and it knocked the camera out of position. We put it on the table and we recalibrated the gimbal and everything seemed to look level after that. I just want to sort of make sure that it's definitely back to where it was before. So I mean, it's looking, I know this won't be level ground, but we'll see when we get up in the air what it looks like. So what I want to do is I want to just check, basically I want to do a calibration basically of the compass. It's saying normal, but I just want to make sure. Right, so I want to rotate the aircraft horizontally. It's worth knowing how to do this, right? And then it wants you to do it nose up on this drone. There we go, and it should say on the screen when you're done. Right, so there we go, that's all good. Let's check our settings. We're in 4K 30, yeah, all good, that's what we want. And we want to start the recording on the drone, and we should now be able to do a takeoff. Now we can do a manual takeoff. A lot of people do the normal sort of automatic takeoff, and that's fine. I just want to try a manual one out, and you do that by pulling the sticks down to the corners, like the kind of opposite corners, and now basically that arms the motors and you can manually take off. So useful to know, useful to know that feature. Basically, yeah, we'll do our whole check the drone out. Does it all look good? I mean, it's definitely worth having a good look at your drone as well before you take off. Let it hover a little bit as well, because if something's going to go wrong with that drone, you're going to pick up some of the problems now because you're looking at it hovering. I'll tell you, that is a beautiful sight and a beautiful sound. It's lovely, low noise. It's just sitting perfectly in the air again. I mean, these DJIs, they're just fantastic, aren't they? I mean, if we can get some other drones like the Femi and what have you sort of getting like this, it'd be great. But at the moment, it seems to be DJI that have this really stable in-flight feeling. There's slight drifting going on, it's not 100% stable, but looking at everything feels normal. Try and drop the gimbal down, just make sure that all that's working, make sure that we can drop it up and down. Yeah, that all seems good. I mean, we had a little bit of a test of it in the house. That was a train, I think. Oh yeah, that's another thing to be careful of. There's train tracks back over that way, so you need to be sort of give that a bit of a buffer zone. We don't want to go too close. But yeah, basically, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Look like it's going well. Is the sensors working okay? Sensors are working okay. That's always cool when that works out. Okay, so I think we can drop the camera a little bit and take it up. I'll tell you what, it sounds really good, that drone. Mini 2, it's a lovely, quietish sort of sound. It's not a noisy drone at all, so really cool. So we're going up. Yeah, it's above me. I want to move it forward a little bit so I can have a visual line of sight to it. Let's pick the camera up a bit, I think. So we've left the camera down a bit like that. How's our horizon looking now? Yeah, it's going out over the river area. Yeah, we sort of got a good spot here because we're not really overflying anyone. We're not close to too many people. And yeah, it's pretty good. And we can maintain visual line of sight quite well to it. So yeah, it's pretty good. I've tried to put the camera the other way around now because sometimes, you know, you get stuck where you can't properly see the drone because it's behind you and the camera's in front. So basically I can look at the camera and also look at the drone, which is good. Yeah, it's looking, yeah, I'm not sure if it's 100% horizontal. So there could be issues. It's definitely, I don't know, that could be the lie of the land there. But let's have a look. Let's fly around a bit more. You know, yeah, looking good over that way. Yeah, I can see it, it's all good. Really good, actually. Okay, right, so what we want to do, it's amazing how far you can actually maintain actual visual line of sight to this drone, really. It's a good 300 meters away, but if you train yourself to kind of look forward and look carefully, you can definitely make it out still, which is quite cool. Yeah, I can see it. It's above the tree lines as well, which is really good. So basically, am I seeing issues with the horizon is the question. So let's move around. Yeah, I mean, right, we don't want to go too far over that way because we've got train line over that way as well. So you've got to try and maintain sort of like 50 meters away from that train line, which we are, so that's good. You want to give that a bit of a buffer zone. Yeah, it's jerking a bit in the air. Now that could be the FPV just being a bit too far away, but there has been issues with the Mini around it being sort of jerky in the air, and I think it's where the gimbal is trying to sort of hold, you know, it's the limits of what the gimbal can achieve basically. So it's not the aircraft that's like kind of going out of control. It's that what's happening is the gimbal's reaching the kind of limit of its you know, tolerance, and then the aircraft's moving, so you're seeing the jolt because suddenly the camera's moving with the aircraft. It's only got a certain tolerance to how much it can kind of move side to side to kind of counteract the aircraft. And I thought we would see that in sports mode, but we're actually seeing it in normal mode as well. So I just flick it into sports mode and just see what we're getting. Yeah, it's doing it more on sports mode, definitely. Let's just hope that what we did the other day hasn't caused a big issue with the drone, which it could have done. Right, so yeah, we're back over that direction. Yeah, it's moving around quite sort of jolting around a bit, and that was what I expect in sports mode. So let's drop back out, maybe go down to cine mode and sort of see what it's like turning in cine mode, and we'll see what we're getting. It's turning quite well. I just don't know if it's, yeah, maybe it's just want to make, yeah, it's going quite slow now. 5 meters a second, but that's the cine mode. Yeah, I would say that some of this could be, I won't know until I look at the footage as well. Some of this could be to do with issues around the FPV connection as well. So it's not, you know, I am seeing that the FPV is not looking 100% connected. So it may be the distance. So I don't want to go too close to that there. So I'm going to back away. I'll stick it in normal mode. And yeah, look, it's spinning round. I mean, I don't think the horizon is terrible. I think it's mainly the signal back to the controller that's not ideal, actually. Yeah, we're definitely not seeing good signal because the distance is quite far now. So what I'm going to do is bring it in a bit closer to where we are and see how we get on. But we're not seeing perfect yet. Hang on, so I'm coming up over us. Swing back over this direction. We're over that way. Yep. Yeah, so we're getting much better signal to it now. The horizon looks okay to me. I don't know if it's perfect. Thing is, when I calibrated it on my sort of like table at home, and you have to, the issue will be that if when you calibrate something, if it's not perfectly flat, then you'll get, it'll calibrate it to how flat that is, so how flat your table is. So yeah, it's not looking terrible, put it that way. And I'd have to compare with previous footage before we had the accident to kind of completely be sure that it isn't isn't just how it was before, really. So it all seemed it was very crooked after the problem, and then it suddenly kind of sorted it. It did definitely get it level. So whether we need to find a perfectly level spot and do another calibration, probably. I mean, I would have thought my floor in the house was pretty level, but not there's no guarantees, of course. But yeah, so swinging it back round to come back round. Yeah, everything, I mean, it's all flying correctly. There's no issues with it in the air. It all seems fine. So, there doesn't seem to be any damage that we can see. That's it, certainly nothing that you would, so that's where we are down there. Just flying up over us now. Yeah, so spin back round this way. Such a nice sound, actually, of it in the air. But yeah, I'm not, I don't know. Maybe people can chime in on the comments. Do you think the gimbal looks crooked? Is it just the lay of the land? I'm not 100% sure looking at that. It looks a little bit crooked to me, but I don't think it, that could be occurring normally as well. So, because of wind and what have you, although the wind's very light today. I think we've got like 5 mile an hour winds, with, maybe gusts of 5 miles an hour, 2 miles an hour normal wind. So, I mean, we shall see. I mean, it's only since I knocked the thing over that I basically have been paranoid now about whether or not it's okay. So I don't think, it may just be, again, paranoia. So, that can often happen when you have some sort of a crash. You then kind of are paranoid. But one thing I will say, just don't fly the Mavic Mini indoors. There's no benefit to it. It's not a good idea. Stick to something like a Tello, something that's designed to kind of clatter into things. The Mini you can put prop guards on it, and I don't have them because I had them with the original Mini, but I don't have them for this. I think basically it's not worth it. You're probably going to do damage to your drone. It's cost you a bit of money. Why would you risk it? I did it mainly just to see for myself. Everybody was saying, oh, fly it indoors, but yeah, I don't know. Just doesn't really feel like a good idea to me. But anyway, yeah, I mean, to me it looks a bit crooked, I'd say. Probably need to do another calibration on like a really good horizontal surface. So yeah, that's I think it's crooked, but it could be wind and it could be it turning. I mean, if I swing it back and forward, I mean, what I might do is I might get it to return home, and then we can sort of get it in front of the camera, swing it side to side, see how it looks. So I might do that. Let's get it to return home now.
Go home.
Right, so there's a button on the controller for return to home as well as in the app. It's a great controller, actually, because the range is very good. You've got full access to all parts of the phone screen. Unlike the previous Mavic Mini where it was kind of underneath. And although this controller is much heavier and much more sort of, I don't know, the other one felt more ergonomic in some ways, but like underneath was difficult to kind of control and use the top control. I kind of prefer this. All the weight of the controller is in your hands. It feels quite sort of good for controlling any screens above you. I think it makes sense. It's a good redesign. So you should be coming back now. I'm wondering how well it will return on the landing pad. we've got our patented padlock landing pad system here, where basically we've got little padlocks that weigh down the pad. So let's see. Now, the Mavic Mini, I mean, this is the thing with DJI. On the Pros, they do have a setting for precision landing. On the Air 2, which is a sort of more towards the Pro, it just kind of does it based on taking a picture of the landing spot. There isn't a setting for it. There isn't a setting on the Mini 2 either. I'm not expecting it to precision land, certainly how it's coming down now, but it's kind of something that they may add into the firmware without you kind of realizing that it'll have that precision landing capability. So anyway, I want to cancel the landing because it was going to land on the camera or the pram. So I want to move that back, bring it down a bit. Okay. Now, to me, it looks nice and sort of, you know, it looks good in the air, but, you know, what I want to do is I want to kind of put it in front of the camera a bit, and then I want to kind of rock it side to side. That's kind of the plan. So, hang on, no, I want to get it nicely positioned, and then I want to kind of go like that. And then I'll probably have to look back at this footage later to see, but you can see what a gimbal does. So if I drop it down a bit so you can see a good sort of, I want to show you the camera kind of pointed down. Look, you'll see that that camera should stay level. No matter what the drone's doing, the drone will tilt from side to side, but the camera should hold in the middle. And that's what the 3-axis kind of gimbal's giving you, and that's why I would say, if you can, always try and get a drone with a mechanical 3-axis gimbal. I know there are drones that now have, you know, electronic image stabilization (EIS). Some have 2 axes, and the 3rd axis being the electronic. And I just, you know, you'll see people advertise 3-axis gimbals. What they mean is 2 axes and 1 axis in electronic, and I would say try and avoid it. You know, I'm not saying that the technology won't get better, I'm not saying that you won't get reasonable results. I just personally, I think 3-axis gimbal, that's what makes this, what kind of sets these drones apart from true toy drones. You know, a toy drone is usually, you know, it's just got like kind of a, it'll have poor footage, it'll be very fisheye, and basically it won't be as steady in the air like this. You know, it won't have like a decent controller. The controller will probably use Wi-Fi to connect, like, well, the old Mavic Mini did, but the Wi-Fi came from the controller. I think basically these are the things to watch out for when you're looking for a drone, and you want it to kind of be worth the money, because what's the point of paying, you know, $100 or $200, you know, up to $200, and then just throwing that money away, because when you get it out to the park, it just is uncontrollable. So, you know, what I would say is mechanical 3-axis gimbal for me. You know, and this is kind of one of the low, I think this is on the low end. You've got the kind of Xeno 1s and things like that, you go down to a Xeno 1, but I wouldn't go much below that. There are a few out there, Holy Stone drones and what have you, that get, they're not terrible, but they're just, the app will be clunky. You are Wi-Fiing from your phone to the drone's Wi-Fi. So basically, it's how good is your Wi-Fi signal. You're not going to get a big range with those sort of drones. They might be good for a little bit of fun, having a bit of a play around, but I just don't think you're going to get the value that you'll get with this. I know it costs more money, and people say, well, yeah, but I don't really want to pay like, I don't know, $500 or whatever. But the thing is, you'll probably buy that cheaper drone for $300 or, you know, up to $300, and then you'll regret it, and you'll want to buy one of these, and you won't be able to offload that cheaper drone, because a lot of people won't really want it, because, you know, they kind of bought off Amazon new, impulse buy. They've got good reviews on there, so they go for it, but in the end it'll be very hard to sell it on. This sort of drone, it'll hold its value. You buy this drone, you know, you'll be able to sell it on. I sold my Mavic Mini 1 on to get the Mini 2, and I got good, you know, I probably lost like, I don't know, $100 or something on the sale, and then basically that was worth it, because I got what was the my value was that for like that $100 that I kind of paid overall, I got really good footage and videos for my channel, you know, but then I sold it on to someone else who really wanted the Mavic Mini 1. So yeah, these things will hold their value really well, you know, so that's what you got to think. But yeah, I think 3-axis mechanical gimbal, yeah, you know, a decent camera. Be careful of the ones that suggest that they have a 4K camera. They probably do, but it will be for images and not for video, whereas this is video and images. I mean, a Mavic Mini 1 second-hand is not a bad idea either. 2.7K is not a shoddy camera level either. The downsides of the Mini is that it doesn't do waypoints, it doesn't do active track, that kind of thing. But it is a good drone just for flying around and you know, getting good footage. The camera's really good. And who's to say that in the future firmware won't add some of those features. Eventually the Litchi app should support the Mini 2 when they release the SDK for this. Hopefully then you'll get your motion tracking, your active track, and you may get waypoints as well. So yeah, I mean, you know, but don't fly indoors like I did and knacker up the gimbal potentially. So let's just try it again. Let's just do another back and forwards, just for my sanity. If I pick up the camera, can I pick up the camera? Can I see horizon? It's very hard to make out the horizon on this level, I'd say. So hang on, spin around it, show you the area a bit. And Rachel and Em's over there playing on the ramp. There's actually like an RC car about, so you know, which was kind of going like about 1,000,000 miles an hour, so I was a bit nervous that it might come flying towards us or Emily, or but it doesn't seem to be around at the moment, or they've gone over, made a safe distance from us. You know, people tend to try and sort of, you know, move out the way if they don't want to get in your way and they don't want you to get in their way, I guess. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, we could take it up again just quickly. Let's have a quick look to see whether we're getting that horizon issue again. Sometimes moving it side to side does kind of sort out the issue because it might loosen it up a bit. Let's have a look around. I don't know, there's a bit of a tilt for me and a bit of a jolt sometimes as well. But I have heard that reported on the Mini 2, that there can be jolts, and I think it's where the gimbal is reaching its kind of maximum capabilities to deal with the movement of the aircraft and the wind and what have you. So just move it forward slightly, and we didn't get precision landing, so it doesn't look like this has precision landing yet. So hopefully they will add that as a feature. I'll just spin round the local area. I mean, you are spinning around and there is air, you know, I mean, it is a light aircraft. Oh, low battery. Okay, so we'll get it to return home now. With this, hang on a minute. Doesn't like that. It won't let you return home when you're too close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it into land manually. So let's bring it down. Here we go, drop the camera down. Bring it down, bring it forward. I know, it's pretty easy to do. I know exactly where I am, so. Now let's bring this drone in. It does seem sort of be drifting up in there in the air, so maybe it's just, you know, maybe it's not windy though. It's very, very calm today, so let's try and bring this drone back. Let's bring it forward. I quite like the speed of the Mini because it kind of, it's very nice, you know, just kind of, yeah, I think some drones are very sort of fast and kind of brutish, but this drone's kind of quite sort of, hang on, just want to get, let's go back over that way a bit. Yeah.
Landing.
That's good. We got it on there. We got it on there. So, yeah, I mean, it's possible that I've damaged the camera, you know, the gimbal really. I hope not. I mean, it doesn't seem terrible, so I think I could live with it, but I'll try and do some more calibrations. Give you a look at the drone there. What do you think? It's a good drone. For me, you know, people think I'm some sort of DJI fanboy, but I would go for this drone personally, just because it's a good starter drone. You know, it's kind of very easy to, you know, it's a good drone to start with anyway if you're a beginner. It's very easy to kind of work with, and it's good. It's well built. It doesn't like kind of fly all over the place. Yes, it doesn't have obstacle avoidance, but it's good enough. And you know, I think it's small, it's light, it's easy to control. For me, it's a good beginner drone. You know, the other drones are much heavier that compete with it in the beginner space. So unless you're really trying to save money, personally, I would stick with something like a Mini 2 or a Mini 1. So, but anyway, hopefully that was useful to you. If you have a similar issue around your gimbal, and just kind of, maybe it just helps showing you how the drone rocked side to side, how the gimbal worked, just to help you make decisions based on other drones. So yeah, I'd go for this. Be very careful. I think 3-axis mechanical gimbal is very important. For me, I want a drone to have it really, or else I don't really want that drone. EIS may improve, but I think this is, for me, you know, you're just getting quality. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully that's useful to you. We'll see you again in the next one. Maybe we'll still be in the park, who knows. But thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe, please like, please share to your friends, and we'll see you again in the next one. Thanks very much.